All right, y'all. So I'm about to tell you what I just figured out today. And I've done a tease talk already, but here I just got through taking one of the practice tests, and I'm about to tell you exactly what you need to know for the tease test. And in the last video that I did about the tease test, which I know is kind of hit and miss on information I was giving you, I had talked about whether or not that somebody had told me it's your overall percentage or your overall score rather than each individual section. So I just got through calling my particular university, and yes, what my university does is they take each section, the percentage that you get in each section, and they tally those up, and that's how they go. So if I failed one section and I did great in the other three, I'm good to go. It doesn't matter that I failed one particular section. So, which I did on the practice test. It was horrible. It's math. I'm not good at math. I'm sorry. And I haven't had a math class in a very long time, and it's definitely showing as I come in, because it's like looking at a different language to me. I just can't even, my brain doesn't even try to compute it. It's just like, whoop, sorry. Not gonna do it. So anyway, let's get started, and let me tell you really quick where, so I did really, almost got 100% in reading. That's my thing, I love it. And so you need to be able to follow directions. So, and be really, one thing I noticed when I was taking the test is like sometimes the question was, the order of things, beginning or ending. It was just the way they worded it. So you had to just kind of really look at the question to see whether or not how they're asking as to what answer they want you to give. I don't know if that makes sense or not. And then, so you also need to be able to identify the topic, of course, the main idea, and then supporting details. And a lot of the questions were asking me like, what was the supporting, what would be an inference, or what would be the supporting detail of this particular topic? And you just have to read and kind of go from there. So also integration of knowledge and ideas. You need to be able to compare and contrast themes, whether it's a printed or a non-printed source. One of the questions was asking something about, it was like an article, and it didn't say where the article came from, but just based on the information given, you kind of had to come to the conclusion that it came from a magazine article rather than, Billboard or textbook or whatever. And then identify your primary sources of various types of media. Just, stuff. It's pretty, it wasn't like, it was not hard for me because I'm really good, I feel like, at English and stuff like that. Not math. Anyway, the next section was the math section. I can give you a lot of information about that because I did so terrible in it. So you need to be able to apply, there's like two major sections for me on this. One was numbers and algebra. The other one was measurement and data. And so on the numbers and algebra, you need to be able to apply estimation strategies and rounding rules. Like, I totally missed one just because of rounding. Because I was trying to like do each 97.6 plus 82.5. And I totally missed the part of the question where it was just like round it. I don't even know why I did that. So it totally changed the answer. And the answer that I came up with was of course on there, but it was the wrong one because I didn't do it the correct way. Perform arithmetic operations with rational numbers. You need to be able to perform arithmetic operations with rational numbers. I just said that. That's got that on there 3 times. I must have missed 3 questions that way. Obviously, I need to review that. Solve equations in one variable. You need to be able to solve real-world, one or multi-step problems with rational numbers, and translate phrases and sentences into expressions, equations, and inequalities. I hope this like totally makes sense to those out there that need it, because just even talking about it, the math part, and I'm just like, I don't even know what they're saying to me right now. And then, did I say translate phrases and sentences into expressions, equations, and inequalities? So the measurement and data section, you need to be able to calculate geometric quantities, convert within and between standard and metric systems. That one, I thought I did okay on. I think I missed one on that, but there was like 4 questions on metric to like the kilometers to like just conversions. I had like 5 questions maybe. I guess I missed a couple. Anyway, explain the relationship between 2 variables. Interpret relevant information from tables, charts, and graphs. I don't know why I missed that one, because I really thought I did well on those. And so yeah, I did terrible. That was my absolute worst, which the last time I took the test, I was telling you, like the actual test that I took, the real test, I did better in math than I did in science, which totally blew me away. But this is more reflective of how I feel I usually am, which is true, and I did worse in math. And my science has improved a little bit, not as much as I would have liked, but whatever. So just more, I have a couple weeks to go. It's crunch time. This should not, these numbers are not pleasing to me. I wanted to be top numbers, like I wanted to conquer this and have like the highest numbers that they've ever seen passing this test, and that's not what I'm getting. So I just have a whole lot more, and I need to probably change the way I'm studying and not mess with the old books and just stay straight on this one. So let's move into the science section. You need to be able to describe the anatomy and physiology of the cardiovascular system. Get out of here. And describe the anatomy and physiology of the gastrointestinal system, the immune system, the integumentary system, the reproductive system, the respiratory and the skeletal system, all of that. And describe the general anatomy and physiology of a human. That's not hard. So that was the A&P part. There's a lot of questions A&P wise. There's a few life and physical sciences. There was not that many. Compare and contrast the changes in states of matter. I did get that one wrong. It was something about volume, and then it was like liquid, gas, solid. Anyway, the answer was a solid, and I got it wrong because I put gas. Compare and contrast chromosomes, genes, and DNA. I did get one of those wrongs, and I knew exactly why I got it wrong, because I hit RNA instead of DNA, and it was exactly worded the same, and one was one and one was the other. And of course your genetic code comes straight from your DNA, and that's where, I don't know why I picked RNA, but I did. Describe chemical reactions. I had about 4 questions, I think, on chemical reactions, and you know, they weren't super easy. They were like, it wasn't just like what is sodium or what is potassium or what, anything like that. It was the long equations and figuring, it was not just what is it, it was kind of application of how it would react to something. That one was difficult. And I'm not good at chemistry. I think I told y'all that already. Anyway, so also you need to be able to explain Mendel's law of heredity, and then recognize basic atomic structure. I can't remember what question I had about that. I did write some questions down though as I was taking this test, so once I get those I might come back to you guys and talk a little bit about the actual specific questions, because like I told you before, I went straight to the maker of the test that I'm taking. Some of you guys will take HESI. I take TEAS. And so ATI TEAS is exactly to the website I went to, because they are the makers of the test. That's who you want to study from. And I've been studying, I told you guys, I think I showed you guys all of my resources that one day. And I have like 7 different books, and they weren't all straight ATI. So that's probably where I went wrong. I should have just stayed with this particular program. So let's move on to scientific reasoning. You need to be able to analyze the design of scientific investigation, my son, and critique. You're not nice. Critique a scientific explanation using logic and evidence. Explain relationships among events, objects, and processes, and then identify basic scientific measurements using laboratory tools. That one, there was one specifically about an electron microscope. I can't remember what the question was, but it was about an electron microscope, and basically which of these would you use, would you look at through that? And I got that one wrong, obviously, because I'm sitting here telling you what I got wrong. And then English language, I did fairly well in that. I think I missed 4 questions out of 24. But, so not great, but better than the math part. So conventions of standard English, knowledge of language, and vocabulary acquisition. You need to be able to use conventions of standard English punctuation and spelling. There was a couple I got wrong on that. And I'm usually really good at that. There was a lot of colon, semicolon. Well, not the colon, because obviously that's pretty easy. I think I missed the one with the semicolon, and I wasn't even sure why I missed that one. And it was because of the word they, and so it confused me, because I was thinking that they, but it was 2 complete, two complete sentences outside of that, so that's why I missed it, I guess. Anyway, distinguish between formal and informal language on your knowledge of language, and that was basically asking, had I used the process of elimination, I probably would have gotten that one correct, but I didn't. And it was like dean of a college, professor, professor of a class, the president of a corporation, and then and then something else that was just real random, like a friend. And so it was how to use the language inside of that. That's really dumb that I missed that, because that's process of elimination. I mean, the other 3 answers made total sense and were grouped together. And there's that one just sticking out there like, hey, pick me. Anyway, vocabulary acquisition, determine the meaning of words by analyzing word parts. And so the word was dis something. Not like dyspnea, but it was basically a medical terminology word that I wasn't familiar with, and that really kind of threw me. And so I got that one wrong. And then use context clues to determine the meaning of words or phrases. So that is where I went wrong on my particular test today. And so I calculated it up, and I was 6 questions short of coming in where I needed to be. This test that I took today was actually worse than the test that I took, the real test. So it's very discouraging. But the majority of it fell on the mathematical side. So if I can just tweak a little bit more of my science, I'm totally good in English, and I'm totally good in reading. I need to bring up my science score just a little bit more, especially trying to enter a nursing program. You don't want them to think that you're a complete idiot when it comes to the human body. But that is definitely the toughest section, so don't beat yourself up if you don't do well in that section. Like, do the best you can, slow down, really read thoroughly, go through all your systems. Like I said, your anatomy and physiology of the major systems: cardiovascular, immune, reproductive, respiratory, skeletal. Go through those sections and just brush up on those, because if your college is the same as mine and they just take, if you fail one section but you do great in the other three, then you're still going to pass. It may not be the grade you want, but it'll get you into your program possibly. So anyway, if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment down below. Like and subscribe my page, and I am going to continue to help you guys along the way through your nursing journey, along my nursing journey. I know this is probably a little bit controversial because people are thinking, why would you take somebody into your classrooms or tell them what happened in your class every day? That gives them an edge. Yeah, that's the point. It's to help you. It's to help people that they just need to know what's going on. You know, sometimes it's just the unknown, not knowing. They put you in such a state of stress and anxiety that you don't need. Like, okay, you're going to study in chemistry all these different equations and all these different chemicals and all these different, you know, letters and numbers and yada, 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 yada. Well, okay, so now you can calm down because you know what that's it. And if you want to go look at some of them before, great. You're still not going to know it all just from doing it yourself. Like, you still are going to have to go to class and learn what you need to learn. But it'll help relax you, I hope, to know prior to, okay, or hey, this one is super hard. Pharmacology, super hard. It's basically just memorization. Start doing it now because it's going to take you X amount of time to do it. Why not go ahead and get a jump on it? I don't see how I think that's good to help somebody like that. Help whoever I can. So anyway, y'all have a great day, and I will be back in a little while to tell you about my, oh my gosh, my class, my reports for microbiology. Okay, bye.